What if I told you that the overthinking, the anxiety, the self-doubt, and feeling like you're stuck on the same day in repeat doesn't have to be your reality? All right, let's get into it because I was somebody who was anxious all the time, super stressed out, and just wanted a life that I desired so badly but just wasn't actualizing. I heard a conversation between someone today at a restaurant, and you know when someone asks like, how are you doing? And the other person's like,
Living the dream.
but they don't actually mean it. I sat there and realized I'm living the dream. I'm actually living my dream. How did I get here? And I want to share this with you guys so that you can too start living your dream. So let me just give you a little backstory context as to how I got here and where I actually am. So 6 years ago, I started my undergraduate journey to become a speech language pathologist. This was something I was so certain that I wanted to do. This was my path, my calling. I wanted to make an impact. I wanted to make a difference and change lives. Went through 6 years of schooling. Those 6 years were horribly painful because when you go to school, you're not yet doing the thing you want to do. You're not getting paid. You're evolving constantly, rapidly, and it's almost as if your goal is on the other end of this tunnel that you just have to keep trucking along through. Every day seems like you're just waiting for that degree, waiting for the job, waiting for the title. And I made a lot of bad decisions during that time. I wasted a lot of my free time. I didn't gain skills outside of my career path, which led me to feel really lost and as if my identity only revolved around this title, around this degree. Fast forward, it's been 2 years since graduating. I now work fully remote, which I never thought would be possible, as a speech language pathologist. And as you guys know, I've recently started my creator journey. I truly am living the dream. I set my own schedule. I create content. I talk about what I want to talk about. I live in this identity of my higher level self majority of the time. And when I'm not, I'm able to be conscious about it. So I'm not saying my life is perfect. I'm not saying that everything I do is perfect, but I have figured out a 3-step framework that will help you get to the desired goal outcome you want. And the 3 things that you need to be focusing on to change where you are to where you want to be are your thoughts, your words, and your actions. We're going to talk about that today. So your thoughts. This is the first level of energy. What you think are feelings that are starting to develop. I thought I wanted to be a speech language pathologist. Thoughts without words and actions don't go anywhere. Thoughts keep you anxious, keep your mind racing, and keep you almost stuck in this thought loop. I'm sure you've been in a thought loop before where you just can't seem to get past the thought. Thoughts by themselves are not valuable. The thought can create the beginning of value, but if you don't use words or actions, the thought goes nowhere. So let me explain how this works. We're going to start using thought to your advantage. How I started to use thought to my advantage is I asked myself, where do I want to be? Who do I want to be? A great question to ask yourself is, in a perfect world with no fear, no self-doubt, no anxiety, and nothing could go wrong, who would you be? What would you be doing? How would you show up every single day? And for me, that was somebody who creates content. That was somebody who spreads love and impact and value to others. That was somebody who is a lifelong learner, who personally develops, who challenges herself, who is confident, who uses her voice, and a lot more to that, which I'm still growing into. But that thought, what is your highest level self? This should always be a thought on your mind. This thought then needs to translate into words. What does that mean? When you start talking to others or even repeating phrases to yourself, these words have to empower that thought. For example, there was a thought one time in your mother's mind, I want to have a child. If she had that thought but never spoke it aloud, nothing would have happened. She had the thought, she told your father, I want to have a child. Next comes action. But first, let's just stick with thought and word. So you have the thought, you say the words. You say the words to others. You make it known to the universe, to yourself. This is why language is so important. It is the second level of this framework. Thoughts go nowhere, but thoughts with words, now you're starting to program and prime yourself to take the action, to get ready. So once you start talking about it and thinking about it and your beliefs are becoming stronger, you're now ready to take action. And this is when the universe actually changes for you. Your actions have to be directed towards your highest level thought. So right now, this framework is always happening. You're always thinking thoughts, you're always using language, and you're always taking actions. But at this point in life, if you have the reality you do not want, this process is happening unconsciously. You need to make this process happen consciously. And that's what I did to get myself to be living a dream life. Honestly, I thought it, I used my words, and then I took action. And here we are, living the dream. If it just stayed a thought that I didn't believe, then nothing would have happened. So the process is simple, okay? Start with your thought, the highest level thought you can think. If all was possible, where do you want to go? Where do you want to be? Do you want to be a millionaire? Do you want to be a stay-at-home mom? Do you want to just not be anxious all the time? What is that thought? Then use the words to describe yourself. Use the words to tell people, this is what I want. I am this. Next, you're going to take the actions because you're using language and words. Now you believe it's possible. That is so important. If you don't believe it's possible, you're going to have those actions that you're taking and your reality is not going to change. But when you believe that your thoughts and your words are in alignment, you are heading towards the direction that you want to go. Now your action is strong, it's powerful, and you realize you are the creator of your universe. This action that you're taking is going to give you the end result. I promise you, if you guys try this concept for even 7 days, you will start to see a major shift. So how can we actually make this into action steps, okay? Tomorrow, I want you to think about your thoughts. Think about how you think about life, how you think about where you are in life, how you think about growth and change and learning. How do you think about yourself? And then I want you to journal about what you really want. Make your thought. Start crafting your highest level thought of yourself. Who are you? Who is the unstoppable version of you who is worthy of everything and can accomplish anything? Write that down. Writing is extremely powerful and starts to craft that thought more clearly. Then, after you have your thoughts, I want you to be conscious of your words. How are you talking to others? Are you telling others that, oh yeah, I'm a failure, or oh, I just go with the flow, or I'll never be successful? What are you attaching yourself with to words? What meaning are you creating in your life? And how are other people looking at you because of those words that you use to express yourself? That is then when you're going to start flipping your script. This is huge. You have the thought, you know where you want to go. So now use your words to start believing that that thought is true. I am worthy of being my highest level self. When people ask you how you're doing, I'm great. I'm on a mission. I'm going to impact others. I am serving from a place of love. Whatever those scripts may be for you, make sure they're empowering and make sure you say them to yourself and others. Because I was stuck in this loop where I would say it to myself, but when others would approach me, I would say something different. I would crumble back down to my lower level self and realize that that's going to happen. It is. All you have to do is be more conscious. Say, oh, I just said something that I didn't mean to say. Rewrite it in your head if the moment's already passed. Don't get stuck in the negative language. Then after that, you're going to take action. What's one small step you can take to get you to the place you want to be? For me, creating this video today, I'm sitting outside in my backyard, no script, just talking off the cuff. That is a direction, a small step towards where I want to go. I had the thought, oh, I'm going to make a YouTube video today. I said the words to myself. I said it to my boyfriend. Ryan, I'm going to make a YouTube video today. And then I sat down to take the action because I believed it. My words helped me believe that thought. And now the action is taken. The video is out there and I'm moving towards the direction that I want. So I hope this framework really helps you guys, because I know that if you take it seriously and you become more conscious of your thoughts, words, and actions, you can genuinely create the life that you deserve and desire, whatever that is.